Well, good morning to some, good afternoon to others. Y'all, welcome to our inaugural Meet the Candidates Forum. This year, we're taking the opportunity to allow our candidates to speak to our members of our association. This allows our candidates the opportunity to state a platform, to state what their plans are, and for our membership to become more familiar with our candidates in an effort to help grow our Alumni Association. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank the Elections and Nominations Committee and the Communications Committee for their work on putting this together. Some long meetings, good fellowship went into this, and we hope that it provides what we need it to provide for you, our members, and for our upcoming leadership to express views, get questions answered, and to grow us as a whole. So with that, I'd like to turn this over to our moderator for today, Ms. Letitia Drakeford. Letitia.
Thank you, Carrie. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to those on the East Coast. My name is Letitia Drakeford. I'm the class of 1997, and I am delighted to be your moderator for today's inaugural Meet the Candidates Forum. As Carrie stated, this gives everybody the opportunity to hear from our candidates, their platforms and their plans should they be elected for the next association biennium. So I would like to go ahead and get started with introducing our candidates and as I call your name, just please wave your hand so people will know who you are. For the office, candidate for the office of president, Ms. Mary Jones Moore. Candidate for the office of vice president, Dr. Terrence Bickerstaff. Candidate for regional vice president for Region 1, Dr. Claudette Owens. Candidate for regional vice president, Region 3, Ms. Keisha Atkins. Candidate for regional vice president, Region 3, Mr. Jermaine Ralph. Candidate for regional vice president, Region 7, Mr. Jamal Ali. Candidate for recording secretary, Ms. Shelbia King. Candidate for financial secretary, Ms. Shakita Goodlow Suggs. Candidate for treasurer, Ms. Karen Howe Samuels. And the candidates for members at large, Mr. Michael Miller, Ms. Henrika Buchanan, Ms. Tiffany Jones, Mr. Willie Lovejoy, Ms. Erica McLean, Ms. Angela Martin White, and Dr. Claudette Owens. Now, we did have a couple of candidates who were unable to attend. Ms. Mary Smith, who is a candidate for regional vice president for Region 5, and Mr. C. Lamar Stearns, who is a candidate for regional vice president, Region 1, were unable to attend this forum today. So now that you are somewhat familiar with the faces, put a face with the name, now it's time to move into our question and answer session. And we are going to start with the candidate for president, Ms. Mary Jones Moore. How are you today?
Good morning, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm well. Okay, Ms. Moore, as the campus transitions into a new era with new leadership, how will you work to be a liaison between the new university president and the alumni body? Oh, I'm sorry. I just totally skipped over an important section. Opening statements from our candidates. I am so sorry. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to give their opening statement, and we will go in the order that I introduced everyone. So Ms. Moore, could you please give us your opening statement?
Okay, good morning. I would like to say that I am at a funeral right now, but I would like to go ahead and answer my questions if I can at this time give the answers to my questions. And if anyone have any additional questions for me, you can email me or call me. And if Natasha or someone will put my information in the chat, that will be fine. I have an open door policy. So, and for the first question as to the transition into the new era with the new leadership, how would I work to be a liaison between the new university president and the alumni body? I'd like to say that we have our alumni affairs office who serves as a director, who serves as our liaison between the university and the alumni. But as president, I would like to continue our town hall meetings that we instated last term with Dr. Hugini, because that's very important to have the president to communicate with us and the alumni to communicate with him, as we are major stakeholders in the university. And we just need to make sure everyone knows that. And we need everyone to become engaged. We need everyone to be with us as we encounter New Horizon and we take our Alumni Association to the next level. And I like to say that I don't take being running unopposed lightly, because anybody that knows me knows that I love Alabama A&M University. I am a diehard Bulldog fan, and I love to see my university grow. And so this week I have recruited 4 new life members. You know, so my thing is it's an ongoing thing for me. It's 24/7. I don't stop advocating for the university. And as far as the awareness, the same thing with anytime I see somebody and I know that they're an alum, I ask them if they're a member of the Alumni Association. And if they start complaining, my first question to them is, are you a member of the Alumni Association? Join the Alumni Association, because, you know, as our members increase, then we're able to go out and collaborate with businesses or different organizations, whereas they see that we're doing something for our university, then they would be more amped to help us or assist us with us as we grow. And as far as the volunteering, open it up, as my first term begun, I sent out the list of all the committees that we have, and I opened it up. And my platform from the first time was to bridge the gap between seasonal alum and the millennials. And I have pretty much done that. But I'm going to tell you, the young alums, you know, they are for A&M, and a lot of them was unaware of the opportunities that they could serve in as an alum and being young. So the thing is that it doesn't matter young, old, or in between. If you graduate from Alabama A&M University, you can serve the Alumni Association in any capacity. And so I just want to thank you all for being there for me and continuing to support me. And
President Moore, we love hearing from you, but we need the next person, please.
Okay. I'm sorry, but like I said, if you all have questions for me, please do so. As I stated, I am at a funeral. So thank you, and I love you all.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we are going to move on. We're going to continue with our opening statements. So each candidate will have 3 minutes to give your opening statement. Please give us your name again, your graduation year and your degree, where you're located, past contributions to the association, and a brief plan for the future if elected. So we will move on to the candidate for Vice President, Dr. Terrence Bickerstaff.
Good morning to each of you as sons and daughters of council. I am Terrence Bickerstaff. You're currently serving National Vice President. I hail from the city of Auburn, Alabama. My graduation year is that of 1998 and 2001 with my master's in agricultural education. I am a 5th generation Bulldog, and it is in my DNA. I am excited to serve as your Vice President. I served as Regional Vice President. I'm excited to serve as your National Vice President, located here in Huntsville, Alabama. Located here, understanding that as a part of being here with the university, it allows me the opportunity to be able to have the platform of reimagining how our chapters, our regions, and our National Association engages with not only our administration, but engages with our students. As the National Vice President, it is mine to reimagine how we activate new chapters. It is mine to reimagine how our regional vice presidents engage in growth and retention. As the National Vice President, it is mine to engage regional vice presidents and chapter presidents to ensure that they are building and growing generational resources within their chapters, not only at the local levels, but as it flows up through our National Association. It is mine to take a look at retention and to take a look at how we engage that across the association. But it is also mine to support the initiatives across the association as it relates to the chapters, regional, and the national levels. It is mine to continue to engage in those ways to ensure that there is excitement, but also engagement across generations. So as you hear, my platform is that of reimagining relationships across generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bickerstaff. We are going to move on to Dr. Claudette Owens, candidate for Regional Vice President for Region 1. Dr. Owens, you may proceed with your opening statement.
Well, good morning to everyone. I am excited to be here with you this morning. My name is Claudette Owens, and I hail from Monroe County by way of Alabama A&M University, now residing in Hartselle, Alabama in Region 1. And one of the things I'm excited about is I am a 3-time graduate from Alabama A&M, and I only paid for myself 1 time. That means I bought some corporate dollars on those last 2. And so I have an undergraduate degree in engineering technology. We did not have our full engineering department at that time. I do have an undergraduate and full engineering degree from UAH, and I'll tell you later why I bring that up. And I have a master's and PhD in physics from Alabama A&M University. I graduated again in 82, 93, and 2002. One of the things that I'd like to share with you this morning is my heart. I have a heart for 2 sections this morning. One, as our vice president just got through talking about, he's responsible for making sure that we have retention and so forth in our schools, and as well as for our association chapters. I'd love to see us build culture. In order to keep our chapters growing, we have to build a culture, and that's going to have to start. And one of the best places to start, if all of us as chapters, we give scholarships. We need to not just give the scholarship, but mentor those students all the way through the Alumni Association. And as our president spoke, get them involved immediately. And we're now not just in the millennial generation now, we're also in Generation Z, which has a little different mindset about things. So we always have to be about understand about our generational differences. The other thing I have a real heart for is the growth of our university in terms of money, scholarships, all those kinds of things. One of the things I've been doing this last year is working with the RISE, and I think that that's an unsold song story there. One of the things I want to do is work more closely with the RISE to bring in more contract dollars. That's the only contract vehicle we have. Other monies come through grants. Grants are not going to be enough. We want to move up there just like UAH and Alabama and Auburn and get in those millions of dollars. And so those are the things that I'd like to put my hat on as vice president in Region 1, is the fact that make sure we get those alumni culture built in, that we don't have to worry about chapters closing or being inactive, and also growing culture all the way through, and then bringing more dollars to the university as a member at large. Thank you for your time this morning. I look forward to talking to you much more.
Thank you so much, Dr. Owens. Okay, we will move on to the Regional Vice President candidate for Region 3, Ms. Keisha Apkins. Ms. Apkins, please proceed with your opening statement.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Good morning and good afternoon. I'm Keisha Apkins, and I'm running for the Vice President of Region 3. I received my bachelor's degree in 1997 and my MBA in 2002. I've been a resident of Atlanta and an active chapter member here for almost 15 years. I've held a lot of titles and received some awards since my time with the Alumni Association. However, I am most proud of helping to shape some groundbreaking initiatives at the local and national levels. There are 2 areas that are near and dear to my heart, and this is where I spend most of my time volunteering and supporting. The first is recruiting high school students to attend Alabama A&M, and the second is supporting initiatives that will help give more scholarships to AAMU students. In December, President Dr. Daniel Wims introduced his plans to develop a pipeline to recruit highly qualified students from the Henry County, Georgia School District to Alabama A&M. I also understand that he's here today at Mays High School, which is one of the schools in my neighborhoods. Recruiting students from Georgia in conjunction with the Office of Admissions has been a focus of mine for many years. I've worked here with local organizations such as the 5 Strong Scholar Program and the C5 Foundation of Georgia. I'm very passionate about meeting young people and telling them how a quality education at Alabama A&M University can change your life. In addition to recruitment, I've played major roles in restructuring how the Atlanta chapter awards scholarships, including implementation of a memorial scholarship, an emergency-based scholarship, and a state-funded scholarship from the proceeds from our license plate. At the national level, I volunteer with the Under 40 Committee, which also raises scholarship funds, in addition to being a recruiting tool to attract more younger alumni. So if I continue to serve in the role as Region Vice President of Region 3, I will continue to focus on recruiting Southeast Region's high school students who offer the greatest potential as specified in the Normalite Creed, recruiting a diverse group of alumni members who will assist the association in being the primary supportive organization of the university, and finally, supporting the development of new chapters and providing guidance and resources to the existing Southeast chapter regions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Atkins. Now we will move on to our second candidate for Region 3 for Regional Vice President, Mr. Jermaine Ralph. Mr. Ralph, please proceed.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jermaine Ralph. I'm a 2002 graduate of Alabama A&M with a degree in biology. I'm the past Metro Atlanta chapter president. One of the things that I have been able to do as Metro Atlanta chapter president is we were able to, actually met with the legislators to get the scholarship dollars so that way we could have the alumni tag scholarship. So I went before the state legislature to make sure that we had that. I'm also the 2002 Alumnus of the Year Award recipient, and I've been the Council of Presidents Chair. I'm the chairperson for YMTF, which is the Youth Motivational Task Force on the campus of Alabama A&M. I enjoy, one of my greatest things is I enjoy engaging our younger alums to make sure that they become active when they leave the university. I work closely with the Pre-Alumni Association, and I shared with them that in order for them to become more active, they have now created an activity to where all their members learn a little bit about the local chapter in their area, so that way they can find out some more. So when they graduate, wherever they're moving to, they know if there's a chapter there or how to reach back to the Alumni Association. You know, one of the things that I really think that we have done here in Metro Atlanta is bridge the gap. Our last gala before COVID, we were able to bring younger alums and our seasoned alums together to where they could enjoy the event, but also interact with each other, which creates a bond for them to understand the history, so that way they can move to the present and then move to the future of Alabama A&M and the Alumni Association. And I do want to say thank you very much. And I'm running for Region 3 Vice President. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ralph. Next, we will have our candidate for Regional Vice President of Region 7, Mr. Jamal Ali. Mr. Ali, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamal Ali. I'm a graduate of the class of 1981 with a degree in business management with honors, I might add. I have been president of the Chicago Alumni Chapter, where I served as Council of President Chair. I currently serve as Regional Vice President. I live in Alexandria, Virginia, where I serve as President of the Washington, D.C. Metro Alumni Chapter, currently serving as Council of Presidents Chair. Within the Washington, D.C. Metro Alumni Chapter, we have an always-on approach to membership. When we started under our administration, we had 28 members in our chapter. As of today, we have 158. We have an always-on approach, and we are trying to make a significant difference in students' lives who receive scholarships from our chapter. Some of the things I'm most proud of, I brought an initiative to our fraternity back in 2015 to endow a scholarship at the $100,000 level. At that time, we were the first organization in the 140-year history to accomplish such a feat. Today, that fund stands at $288,000. I love the fundraising effort so much. I took out a $25,000 life insurance policy in the fund's name so that it can ensure its longevity. As the vice president so eloquently stated in his vision for growing the chapters, he served as the president of the regional vice presidents. And so we follow his direction. He has an aggressive approach laid out that we will definitely implement. But in summary, my goal is to make Alabama A&M University the fastest growing alumni association among all HBCUs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. And we have had another candidate to join us, Mr. Roderick Hudson, candidate for Regional Vice President of Region 4. Mr. Hudson, you are free to give your opening statement. Please again state your name, your graduation year and your degree, where you're located, past contributions to the association, and your brief plan for the future if elected. You may proceed. Mr. Hudson, you're on mute.
Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Roderick Hudson, and I graduated from Alabama A&M in 1981 with an electronic engineering degree. I moved to Houston, Texas, working for Dresser Atlas, and from there I moved to California. I now reside in Corona, California. I have been here since 1983. You all excuse me, I'm a little nervous. I'm not used to speaking. But anyway, I've been part of the Los Angeles chapter for many years. That chapter dissolved, and now I'm part of the Pasadena chapter, and I'm the treasurer for the Pasadena chapter. And my goal for Region 4 is growth. We have a vast area to cover out here, and we have a lot of alumni out here, I know, but we don't have all the tools to reach those alumni. So my immediate goal is for growth and to bring about more chapters on the West Coast. And also my goal is to align with the national goals so we can help in those areas as well. And I'm looking forward to being your Regional 4 Vice President for a second term. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hudson. We will now move on to the candidate for recording secretary, Ms. Shelby King. Ms. King, you may proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Drakeford. I am Shelby King, a 1998 graduate of Alabama A&M University, and hopefully you recognize me as your 2021 Alumna of the Year. I have served in this capacity before as recording secretary. I have served as financial secretary, and I also serve as your technology committee chairman. And kudos to myself and our committee, the other people that you see here. We have brought you into the virtual world. And so my platform is connecting through communication. Traditionally, our recording secretary is only tasked with recording minutes at our meetings. However, I'd like to expand that and use my influence on the board to help us increase our technology so that we're able to keep this virtual world going as we come out of the pandemic. I've noticed that we have engaged a lot more alums with this virtual platform, and in the role of recording secretary, I'd like to also continue to do that so that we're able to reach out to Pasadena, we're able to reach out to New York, to Mexico, to wherever we may have alums who want to join us, but aren't able to because they can't come to Huntsville, they can't come to Birmingham. So I'm asking for your vote and also your support as we try to make this a borderless association where you can be a part of any chapter you'd like, which will help our local chapters with fundraising and other things. As more alums know, those extra coins we may have on the side, we may decide to send them to New York, to send them to Mobile, to send them to Atlanta. So my platform, Connecting Through Communication. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Ms. King. Next, we will have our candidate for financial secretary, Ms. Shakita Goodlow Suggs. Ms. Suggs, you
Good
may
morning,
proceed.
everyone. I'm Shakita Goodlow Suggs, and currently I am the financial secretary, has been financial secretary from 2020 to 2022. And prior to that, I was the treasurer from 2020 to 2020. 2018 to 2020. I'm a graduate of May 1983 from Alabama A&M University. My major was accounting. And for some reason, everything that I do, whether it's with the local chapter or the National Alum or Delta or whoever, I'm always into finance. So I am your financial secretary. But currently I'm here in Huntsville. Madison is my address, but I say Huntsville, Alabama. My past contribution to the association, I constantly contribute physically and financially to the Alumni Association by contributing as need and necessary. I always encourage my family and friends and associates to get involved with the association because I think that's how we grow, by word of mouth. So that's one thing that I do. Being the financial secretary, I participate in several of the committees and looking forward to continuing this effort. I also engage with the students. I meet with the pre-alum quite often and also try to reach out to the students, especially the ones dealing with scholarships, because we have students today that truly don't know. And I think if we encourage them and let them know where we came from and make sure that they connect with us, then we'll be favorable to have better alums in the future. So saying that, I'm looking forward to growing the association as well as the university. And somehow we need probably think about having a mentorship forum for the students along the way for the future. So thanks everyone. And Shelby, you have been great with your communication experience in your committee. And I'm looking forward to what we have in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Suggs. Next, we will have our candidate for treasurer, Karen House Samuels. Ms. Samuels, you may proceed.
Thank you. I am Karen House Samuels, your current treasurer. I graduated from this illustrious university in 1982 with a BS in Business Administration and in 1990 with an MBA. I am currently located and have always been in Birmingham, Alabama, where I am an active member of the Magic City Metro Area Alumni Chapter. In the past, I have been the association's secretary and financial secretary. And I have also held the office of financial secretary, financial secretary, and treasurer in the local chapter here in Birmingham. Also, I am proud to say that I give monthly through my AT&T Giving, which they match part of it to the Alumni Association as well as the university. And I also donate during my class years of 82 and 90 during the Founders Day weekend. My brief plans for the future is to continue to foster and make sure that the association maintains membership as well as funds so that we may do the work of awarding scholarships to students to attend our university, as well as funds to allow our committee chairs, such as our tech team, to continue to bring us into the future. Those are my plans. I am your treasurer and will continue to be and to provide the financial status of the association to the alumni on a quarterly basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. House Samuels. Next, we'll have candidate for member at large, Mr. Michael Miller. Mr. Miller.
Good morning, everyone. I hope all is well in Bulldog Nation. I am Michael Miller, class of '84 alumni with the BS degree in electrical engineering and a minor in mathematics. I live here in Madison, Alabama, as suburbia of Huntsville. I've been back here since 1999, and it's great to have Alabama A&M in my backyard as a playground. One of my passions is that I learned when I first moved back here, the importance of the percent alumni active and the percent alumni giving. And I lead by example in that world. I believe in contributing to Alabama A&M as well as the association. I am currently a member at large from the last term. Been a very interesting ride through the COVID journey. I've served on the fundraising committee as co-chair. I have also in my other organization served in the capacity of, I've been the poll mark of the Huntsville Alumni Chapter Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, as well as fundraising committee chair. And here in the last term of our COVID journey, co-chair of the fundraising committee. One of my passions, as I said earlier, is that percent alumni giving, but also recognizing the value of the percent alumni active. So within this role of member at large, one of the things that I want to do with our member at large is bring to bear the responsibilities of Article 6 of our bylaws. I think that's been overlooked. You know, I read for myself, and we have work to do to bring to bear those responsibilities. I think those positions, we're kind of like the freelance artists of the board, you know, with projects that we need to embark on. But I see some things here as I have boots on the ground. We have to do a better job. I heard one of the candidates say earlier, the student activities world needs our help. Student retention needs our help. I want us to see us bring to bear more scholarship opportunities for students post freshman year. We have to help keep these kids in school. And I believe in that. And as my fellow Greek Ali stated, he motivated me to get started with the Kappa Alpha Psi Alumni Endowment here. We raised over $132,000 prior to homecoming and presented that check. I chaired that activity. And at the end of the year, we were right at $170,000. Ali, we catching. But that little project proved to me that in COVID times, that we can bring to bear our alumni to improve percent alumni giving. And I'm going to use my platform in this association to bring to bear the whole Bulldog Nation, all 400,000 of us, to be active and cheerful givers to support our association and our students. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Next up, we'll have Ms. Henrika Buchanan, candidate for member at large. Ms. Buchanan.
Thank you, Letitia. So good morning. And let me just say, first of all, how honored I am to be here with my fellow alums who really, I think what comes across from each of us is just the passion that you have for the university, and how honored I would be to serve with each of you. So I'm Henrika Buchanan. I'm a native of Hillsborough, Alabama, and a 1997 and 1999 graduate of Alabama A&M University, and a member of the illustrious Washington, D.C. Metro chapter of the Alumni Association. So my passion to serve A&M is a direct result to all that the university has done for me. I'm a fourth generation, so not fifth like Dr. Bickerstaff, Alabama A&M Bulldog. And I want to make sure that my family's next generation, which would be our sixth generation to go to Alabama A&M, has that option to attend our beloved university. And that it's not just Alabama A&M that is there for those that are marginal, right? That it's an Alabama A&M that has realized its promise of all that the university could be in a way that can only happen when you have a strong alumni network that is leveraging its connections, its resources to advance the university. So whether it's mentorship programs, whether it's retention, we must all be sort of galvanized in a way that we're moving the university forward. So I'm running for a member at large position within the Alabama A&M Association. so that I can focus my efforts on those special projects at the request of the president that advance the association and, more importantly, the university forward. So I have a lot of experience in program delivery. I have a lot of experience in organizational change initiatives. So I like projects where there's defined objectives, deliverable, so timeline, where we're going to be doing something that's going to advance the association and the mission forward in a way that aligns with our mission, which really is to garner and galvanize support for the Alabama A&M University in a way that's compatible with the objectives of the university. So my platform and my passion is really about reimagining the association. We need to transform this association into an association for the future. And so we talk about all of these disconnected initiatives. We really need to, from a strategic standpoint, take a step back and look strategically at what committees we have, what are our bylaws, and let's not talk about what we've done over the past 100 years. Let's have an association frame that's ready to move forward for the next 100 years. And so I'm here and I'm ready to work and to do that type of work on behalf of the university and continue to. I was on the membership committee, the fundraising committee. I'm over the scholarship committee for my local chapter. I'm on the Ways and Means fundraising committee for my local chapter. I'm working to make sure that my corporation understands the value of HBCUs. So I'm out here doing the work, and I'm ready to do the work with all of you in a way that we have a strategic vision for how we need to move forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Buchanan. Next up, we have Ms. Tiffany Jones, candidate for member at large. Ms. Jones.
Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to some. My name is Tiffany Jones, and I am a graduate of 2010 with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Marketing from the great Alabama A&M University. I've also served as past Vice President, and I'm a past recipient of the Elise S. Sims Award for service, and I am running to, or hoping to serve as member at large to the Alumni Association, just based on the platform of the projects that I participated in. I think my passion kind of lies within kind of bringing value and appreciation to what our seasoned or tenured alumni have done, while making our opportunities attractive, or making our opportunities of interest attractive to our younger alumni and pre-alumni. Having participated in the trajectory of our spring events and having, initiated our freshman send-off and other opportunities like that, I feel like there is a lot of opportunity for our association to serve in a way that will not only grow, but maintain and retain membership. And we all know that we can do more stuff and throw more events if we have more membership and more dollars to do that. So I really thank you all for your time, and I hope to be honored to serve as member at large for the Alumni Association.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Next, we'll have Mr. Willie Lovejoy, candidate for member at large. Mr. Lovejoy.
Yes, greeting to my fellow alumni, graduates of Alabama A&M University. My name is Willie Lovejoy. I'm a graduate of the class of 1997. I graduated with a degree in computer science and followed up with a master's in information systems. My passion is scholarship. I'm a member of the March, Maroon, and White Alabama A&M University Marching Band. So one of my passions is that band program, and to just bring scholarships. I've had several members to pass in this past couple of years, and I've had parents that come up and say, hey, how can we do scholarships, not necessarily in the name of the deceased, but is there something that we can do for those band members that are struggling with scholarships and, trying to have things paid, that have to sometimes come out the band program to work, and not enjoy it as I did. And some of us did. So that's one of my passions, to try to come up with some type of an endowment where we could give back to the foundation. I do know that there's a Band Boosters Foundation, but something that we could just give back and have people in lieu of flowers and cards to do certain things. I served with the Metro Atlanta chapter here, 2 years treasurer. I spearheaded the Honda Ballad of the Band when we fed the March, Maroon, and White. They brought the band over here for the Honda Ballad of the Band. I've also participated with the SWAC Atlanta Alliance and the HBCU Alliance, where we come together with all HBCUs to just bring a awareness of what the chapters are doing here, you know, and in other states, other cities. I also, I'm interested in reclamation. That's something that my fraternity does for those members that joined, they left the university, they never came back. Whether it was hardship, parenting, jobs, what have you, you know, just a reclamation, something that we can bring back. I don't know if it's something that we will be able to do like at a homecoming or a classic Founders Day, but something to just bring members and give them an awareness and let them know that we are here and that we need them, you know, whether it's being an associate member, you know, if they're not able to do chapter work, but just to bring them around, you know, and just not to be like, okay, you went to A&M, you know, but that's that. I just have a whole other list of things, but I'm just happy to be involved with this process. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to express myself and services, sovereignty, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lovejoy. Next, we'll have Ms. Erica McLean, candidate for member at large.
Good morning, alumni and members of the nominating committee. I am Erica McLean, and I'm a graduate of Alabama A&M, class of 1991. I have a degree from the university in business administration with a concentration in logistics and procurement. I am, well, I've served on as the alumni class agent for my class. That's what I'm trying to say. I've served as the class agent for my class, and as a class agent, I encourage alums that have graduated in my class to come back, give back, and get involved with the association and get involved with their local chapter. I'm currently the regional vice president for the Region 1 area for Alabama. And I am a lifetime member, maroon and white member of the association. I have served as the past chairperson for the hospitality committee, where I coordinated the big tent, tailgate tent for homecoming, and I really enjoy it. I actually decided to give up that position as chairman and allow someone else to help grow the position as hospitality chair, also assist with the hospitality committee. And my passion is just networking and reaching out to alums that have graduated and the younger alums. So I also participate with the Pre-Alumni Association, trying to get them engaged and involved and bringing them in under the big tent in order to support the efforts. I have also served as past president for the Huntsville-Madison Alumni Chapter, which I am here in Huntsville, Alabama, if I didn't state that. But I've served as the past president of the chapter and have been able to just network with members and get them to reach back and give back. We also have in the past done initiatives to try to engage with students. We've done a meet and greet. We've spearheaded a raffle that we've given gift cards to our students just to encourage them, motivate them to continue to pursue the history of our university. I have been a member for over 25 years and have financially supported the university and the Alumni Association. I have also been a recipient of the William Hoover Council Award in 2014. And I've also been honored to hold the award for Alumnus of the Year for 2018.
Ms. McCain, we thank you for all your comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McLean. And in case everyone is not aware, Ms. Rachetta Wilkerson is our timekeeper, and she is going to keep us on time and moving. Thank you, Ms. Wilkerson. Next up, we have our final candidate for member at large, Ms. Angela Martin White. Ms. White, you may proceed.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say amen, amen, and amen to everything everyone has said, because we can all say pretty much the same, and we will be pretty much saying the same. So I just wanted to add a few extra things to what has already been said. I am a second generation Bulldog. I believe in leading by example. My daughters, one graduated in 2019, and I currently have one who is also at Alabama A&M. And the one who graduated is also an active alumnus, and she's financial with Alabama A&M. I graduated in 2007 with a bachelor's degree in studio art. I am a member of the Southwest Alabama Regional Alumni Chapter. And my past contributions and my future plans are pretty much the same. I began matriculating at our beloved A&M in August of 1980. Due to illnesses and life issues, I left and returned in 2005 and graduated with honors and mentored young students. I've been volunteering since the 1980s, and was appointed to the position of member at large in fall of 2021. I have been actively recruiting students to attend Alabama A&M. I recruit alum to join the Alumni Association and contribute financially as well as their time. I have volunteered with the admissions office by representing the schools at awards and scholarship events, graduations, etc. for the past 20 years. I have been and will continue helping students to complete the application process, the FAFSA, helping families navigate the system, especially with first generation students, the process of getting our children into our university, with retention, keeping them on the hill, getting them to graduation day, and taking their pledge to be an active and financial alumnus of the university seriously. I have helped and assisted and encouraged other alumni who have left the university due to various reasons to return and complete their degrees and to be active and financial members of our Alumni Association. And I also believe in paying it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. White. And I want to make note for those of you who may have joined us a little later, that Dr. Claudette Owens is also a candidate for member at large, and she is giving her opening statement a little earlier in this forum. So now we can move on to the questions and answer session. So for the candidates, I will ask a question, and each candidate will have 3 questions, and you will have 1 minute to answer the questions. So we will start with candidate for the office of Vice President, Dr. Terrence Vickerstaff. Dr. Vickerstaff, hello again.
Hello, Ms. Drakeford.
All righty. So as the campus transitions into a new era with new leadership, how will you work to be a liaison between the new university president and the alumni body?
It is mine to continue to establish good working relationship as it relates to the administration, but it doesn't stop there. It exudes out into the faculty, the staff, and our student body. It is ours to continue to have that working relationship in order for us to understand the needs of the university, but for us also to understand what our responsibility is as those persons that are to push the initiatives of the university. So we would continue those working relationships.
All righty, thank you. And how do you plan to engage the regional vice presidents to ensure chapters are getting the needed support?
The way that we will continue to ensure that our chapters are getting the needed support, resources, and understanding of the forward vision of the association are to continue our normal regional vice president roundtables, to continue to understand the needs for each of those regions, because each region is unique. and each region has its own set of unique needs, and understanding how those unique needs play into the larger strategy, the larger planning, and the larger initiatives of the association. Continuing to understand the needs as those regional vice presidents are meeting with their chapter presidents, and then we all coming back to the table together to understand what it is and how we need to make sure that we're moving forward together. So continuing to do it together.
Okay. And finally, what plans do you have to reestablish and or re-engage dormant or non-functioning chapters?
So that is a wonderful question. I'm glad you asked that. Reactivation and that of dormant chapters is at the forefront. We are engaging with persons that directly in those geographic areas. We're understanding what has strategically needs to happen in order to pull them back online, and engaging those persons that are excited about the work. We want persons that are excited about the work, and we want persons that are engaged and wanting to continue the work of those chapters. So we're going into those spaces and we're pulling those chapters back together. We are also will continue to ensure that we utilize our virtual platforms, because only to engage those chapters means in having the ability to have accessibility and flexibility for those members in those areas. We are no longer in a pre-pandemic environment. We have to ensure that our membership and our chapters are fluid and flexible in order to grow.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Vickerstaff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Next, we are going to move on to our candidates for Regional Vice President, beginning with the candidate for Region 1 Vice President, Dr. Claudette Owens. Dr. Owens, how are you again?
I am well. How are you?
I am well. So let's go ahead and get started. How will you help to grow the local chapters in your region?
I think Dr. Vickerstaff and Ms. McKenna earlier hit something very critical, and that is one, Dr. Vickerstaff talked about each geographical area and sometimes each chapter being unique. And I think that's a ground campaign of trying to find out from the local areas there, what has happened, what is going on. Why don't we have people? I think we have about 45, I think, all over Alabama with chapters. But in North Alabama, which is Region 1, I think we've got about 19. And I looked at the areas and there's no reason we shouldn't have more, but we need to find out why. The thing I think that's going to be critical is what I talked about earlier, and what we heard a word called strategy. We have got to start with strategy at the ground level. I looked at and compared our chapters and what we do with some of the other major universities. One of the things I noticed they do is they started when they get the scholarship or when they get the acceptance letter, there is a culture built there of knowing that the ultimate goal is to be a lifelong alumni of that school. And I think that's the culture we're going to have to build when it comes to our alumni chapters as well. And I believe that it starts with us, as I say, when we're engaging students, when we're talking to them, when we're bringing them there, we're with the FAFSA, it starts at that ground level. And it's same things happens with our chapters that are inactive or defunct. We've got to do that same thing. What is going on? Find out and then build a culture. Culture can even be helped in our classrooms. When we talk about when we're in classrooms, get those teachers to always reinforce the fact that not only just getting through this class, not only just getting to graduation day, but how we plan to give back to the school and how we plan to be a lifelong alumni. It is culture, it is strategy, and it is ground campaign.
Okay. And how can you, as Regional Vice President, increase alumni participation in your area to include life members and general members who are unaffiliated with the chapter?
It's kind of a similar method, but you know what? We have to be excited about it ourselves. I think one of the things that we have to do is those of us that are alumni, especially starting with me, have to be excited about it. And I have to talk about it in everything I do. It has to be a part of what I do. So it becomes a part of what those that I touch do. And again, we can work with the strategy, we can work the ground campaign, and we can, and when we're talking, we have to talk about the word life. A lot of times when we are
Did we lose Dr. Owens? Okay, well, while we try to get her back on, we're going to go ahead and move to the Regional Vice President candidate for Region 3, Ms. Keisha Atkins. Ms. Atkins,
Yes, ma'am.
how are you?
I'm doing well.
All
Thank you.
righty. So we'll go ahead and get started. So as Regional Vice President, how will you help to grow the local chapters in your region?
So I would like for, well, I want to make sure this next term that all of the chapters in the Southeast region designate a membership chair. Some of the larger chapters have that, but I want to make sure that each chapter has a designated membership chair. I was recruited by a classmate in Huntsville, Alabama around 2003, 2004, Keitra Rice, many of you know her. We were co-workers at the time, and she recruited me and Ben Ote. So I think the role of membership chair is very important. I also think that as chapter members and association members, we have to be consistent. We have to be consistent with our meeting times. We have to be consistent and friendly inviters. We have to be consistent with our signature fundraising events. In this world, we have to be consistent with our social media. And we have to be consistent when asking people to pay dues. And yes, we're going to have to ask them more than once before we probably get a check out of them. But I think membership chair and consistency is the key.
Okay, and how can you as RVP increase alumni participation in your area to include life members and general members who are not part of a chapter?
So luckily for us, the regional vice presidents work in conjunction with the membership committee, our wonderful membership committee, which is led by Bridget Hickey. But also what we've seen over the years, just my being in the association, is incentives. Incentives usually drive people into the association. Over the last 2 years, I've accepted all invitations to participate in chapter meetings. I've accepted an invitation to do an installation in officers in one of the other chapters in Georgia. But I think that's going to be a collective thing that we all have to do together.
Okay, and finally, what are your plans to increase the number of chapters in the association?
I'm glad you asked that question. So I've already reached out as the current regional vice president to the publicity and the communications committees about hosting a tech talk on how to charter a chapter. It's probably not as difficult as some of you may think, especially in this virtual environment that we've been accustomed to. Also, I worked with the International Alumni Committee Day, sponsored by the membership committee. And I was able to meet several Caribbean contacts. So I'm looking at the Caribbean to create a chapter, hopefully within the next 2 years. And also I would love to see another chapter in Georgia in the Savannah area, because that's a growing metropolitan area in Georgia.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Atkins.
Thank you.
We will move on to candidate for Region 3 Vice President, Mr. Jermaine Ralph. Mr. Ralph.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Drakeford.
Good afternoon. So how will you help to grow the local chapters in your region?
One of the things I think to grow the local chapters in the region, first, we have to connect the local chapters in the region. What I mean by that is if somebody moves from Metro Atlanta and they move to Charlotte, where there is a chapter, how do we connect the two of them? What we need to do is to connect the chapters from, like, if you have a website for your chapter, all the local chapters information should be on that website. So now you can connect and say, hey, well, you're moving to Charlotte, just look at our website, and you can click on, you can get the information for that local chapter there. So that way we connect all the chapters in the region to make sure that we know when somebody leaves one area, they can connect with the other to help to grow that chapter, and they don't lose their connection with the Alumni Association.
Okay, and how can you as Regional Vice President increase alumni participation in your area, including life members and general members who are not affiliated with the local chapter?
First thing I think we have to do, if you have a life member and a local member that's not affiliated with a chapter, we have to talk to them. Why? We have to find out, why are they not affiliated with the chapter? It just may be demographics. It may be something that, you need to discuss with them to help to reassure them of why they need to be a part of it and how them being a part of it helps the entire association as a whole. So we realistically, connecting with the people is the key to connecting with more membership.
Okay. And what are your plans to increase the number of chapters in the association?
Well, when I was COP chair, I did meet a person from Miami, and I have heard that there's an interest in Bermuda. Two things we need to do is when we find out that there's an interest in the area, we make sure we talk to that person. And working with pre-alumni, we also find out that where students are moving to. So if they're moving to an area, we can connect them with alumnus that are already there who may be trying to start that chapter. So that way now they have a certain amount of people to create their chapter. Because the key is, like I said, again, it's the people. So we have to make sure that we connect the people with each other. Because if you start a chapter and you may have, and I'll use this as an example, we may have a chapter that wants to start in one area, and that's the one person, but they're not connected with everybody else in the area. So we need to connect them to make sure that, once again, they have that bridge and that link together.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ralph.
Thank you. And Ms. Drakeford, I have to sign off because I'm going back in for the college scholarship day with the Alumni Association.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today.
All right. Thank you.
And did we get Dr. Owens back on? No.
I'm here.
Yes. He's here.
Oh, okay. Dr. Owens, I wanted to give you the opportunity to respond to the last question for the regional vice presidents.
And the last one was what I plan to do, right?
Oh, I'll give that to you. What are your plans to increase the number of chapters in the association?
One of the things I think, in addition to all the things that we've heard, they're all great. And I think that one thing I noticed in my area here and talking to some people, I know there's one I'm already talking to now that's inactive, and to get them reactivated. But I've heard people say that my area is small. I think that we need to think about giving people a charter with a purpose. I think some people think that they have enough people to have a charter, which they do, and they don't think they have enough people to do anything for the school. I know that I would love to do some of the same things I've heard Metro Atlanta and DC say, but my small chapter that I'm in Gator Morgan, we can't do that. So one of the things that we focus on is scholarships. That is our prime thing, scholarships, and then mentoring every scholarship recipient all the way through college. We talk to them at Christmas, we give them Christmas gifts, we call them throughout the year, and keeping that retention. So that's our charter with a purpose. And I'd like to see us do that for other people who may think they're not strong enough or have enough people to, hey, let's charter with a purpose. If your purpose is to give 3 scholarships a year and to make sure you talk to people in your area as they come out and keep them focused and work on lifetime memberships, that's good. Just work on getting people into the chapter and getting other people committed for a lifetime and helping in whatever way you can. Charter with a purpose.
All righty. And I don't believe we had, you had the opportunity to answer this question. As RVP, how will you increase alumni participation in your area, including life members and general members who are not part of a local chapter? So I'll give you that opportunity. You have 1 minute.
Okay, two things that we can take advantage of. One is the fact that we can connect now virtually, and it's easier now. We've been, and I'm my local chapter here, I like what we did. We have been connecting with people who are outside of our area, but have a residence or grew up here. And so through connecting with them virtually, they have been able to help us to find people who are here in this area and then go talk to them one-on-one. And in doing that, we have been able to, I think of the last, even while we're virtual, we've got about 5 additional members. So I think that's a good strategy we could continue to use to grow other chapters the same way and to start chapters. But now we need to start the conversation with them one-on-one about lifetime membership, lifetime over and over and over. It's sometimes you just have to keep repeating things over and over.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Owens. And now we will move on to the Regional Vice President candidate for Region 4, Mr. Roderick Hudson. Mr. Hudson, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So how will you help grow the local chapters in your region?
I would like to have bi-weekly or quarterly meeting with the chapter president. We have only actually in my region 2 chapters. That's the Pasadena chapter and the San Francisco chapters. So communication with the presidents bi-monthly or on a quarterly basis.
Okay, and how can you as RVP increase alumni participation in your area, including life members and general members who are unaffiliated with the chapter?
Okay, I would say tools. First of all, I need the tools to know who is in my area. So that would be some form of a database. If I had some means of collecting a database and then reach out to those people who are in my particular area by communication via the telephone. So having a communication with those individuals and encouraging them to join the chapters.
Okay, and finally, what are your plans to increase the number of chapters in the association?
I think that kind of goes back to my previous response, is to find out who is in my particular area. So we only have 2 chapters, and that's San Francisco and Pasadena. So I cover the area of Seattle. I do not know who's living in the Seattle area. I do not know who's living in the Nevada area, in the Oregon area. So once I find out who's living in those areas, my goal is to reach out to those individuals and to encourage participation.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Hudson. And rounding out our candidates for Regional Vice President, we have the candidate for Region 7, Mr. Jamal Ali. Mr. Ali, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How will you help to grow the local chapters in your region?
Thank you for the question. I actually have the benefit of listening to the other RVPs. So first of all, I agree with everything that has been said, but I go back to Vice President Bickerstaff's vision and strategy. And I think it starts with strategy. And he made a gallant effort to bring us together oftentimes throughout this year. And we didn't do it as much as we needed to, but I think the mission now has been fortified. And I think we start with a strategy and get us all on the same page, and then we go from there. But I think the underpinning of that is communication. So each of your questions are going to kind of be consistent with that. We've been afforded an opportunity to have chapters without borders now. And so a member is no longer limited to our geographic area. And so we can go after members around the country. So we have 2 members in Tacoma, Washington, 1 in El Paso, Texas, 2 in Miami, Florida, 4 in the state of Pennsylvania, and 2 in New Jersey, and some outreach in the Caribbean as well. So with the strategy, once we get them engaged, then we can direct them back to the different regions if they so desire. But the first thing is to get them in first, then we can go from there. But I think it starts with that strategy.
Okay, and to piggyback off of what you said about the strategy, how does that tie into increasing alumni participation in your particular area to include life members and those members who are not part of a local chapter? I think you spoke on that a little bit.
Consistent with that. And again, when you have life members, these are people who have raised their hand to show their commitment to the university. So they already are engaged and want to be engaged. And so it starts with that outreach, that communication. You got to go out and communicate with them on what's going on in the region. I think if we can better connect as Vice President Bickerstaff is trying to do, once we are all on the same page and we know what each other is trying to do it with our respective strategies that ladder up to that overall strategy, we could sing from the same song sheet. So when we all are on social media, and in Washington, D.C. chapter, we use the always on approach. So we're always going after members. But if all regions are doing that on a continuous basis, working in advertising, that branding, those impressions are out there. People are starting to see Alabama A&M. They are always bringing, it's always talking about memberships. They're bringing in members. That's what we need to do, but I can't do it in Region 7, and then 2 months later, Region 3 does or whatever. We all got to do it in a concerted effort, and then we get that impact. Then that those 1 or 2 people in Pennsylvania, I mean, in Seattle and in Tacoma and places like that start to see this media, and then we bring in members that overlay into growing chapters and all of that.
Okay, and I think you kind of tied into that last question about plans to increase the number of chapters in the association.
Yeah, and specifically in my region, I've kind of been dealt, a region of Maine and Rhode Island, and I'm trying to find the 2 brothers in Maine. I heard there were 2 up there. I'm trying to get them, but let's say we find some individual members in those states like Rhode Island, Connecticut, or whatever. We might need to revisit the bylaws. I think Mr. Buchanan talked about that. Do we form a regional chapter, a virtual chapter at some point in time in a region? If you only have 1 or 2 members in a state and another 1 or 2 in another neighboring state, and they're all engaged, maybe that becomes a regional chapter. I don't know, but case in point, one of my a member I went to school with, Doreen Mercer, track star. I engaged her in our weekly update every week, our newsletter, over a year. She joined the chapter. She wanted to be engaged now until their chapter becomes activated back in Miami. She's so engaged. She raised $1,600 for our popcorn project, and she's in one of the top 5 to do that. But we gave her an opportunity. She was oblivious. She joined the chapter. She's seeing the structure. She's participating in the meetings. When they build their chapter, when they reactivate their chapter in Miami, she's got experience now of being in the chapter.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ali.
Absolutely.
We are going to move on to the Office of Recording Secretary, Ms. Shelby King. Ms. King, how are you?
I am well, thank you.
Good. So in your role, how will you foster cooperation and communication amongst board members?
So in my role, what I'd hope to do is ensure that all of our board members are given timely notice of potential meetings that we'll have. I also would like to develop an overall association calendar so that alums and officers are aware of all the different goings on and happenings and events within the association. The first quarter of the year is traditionally pretty busy for us, and alums miss out because we bombard them with email about each event across committees. So if we have a consistent yearly calendar, everybody can plan in advance and make an informed decision on what they'd like to participate in. So again, just communication, ensuring that everybody understands when we're meeting, what we're doing, and the purpose of these meetings so that we can increase our participation.
Okay, and how will the board work together to build positive relationships with the university administration?
Well, hopefully if we can get a strategic plan together and a calendar, then we won't have competing events with the university. And then as a board, we can make recommendations to the membership on what we should support as university initiatives. So we know we've had band booster requests, we've had choir requests, we've had council flame requests, and after a while, I don't know about y'all, but my pocketbook runs out. It's only so much money I can give because the association is asking, and so is the university. However, if we work together, the association can use the funds that we receive to give one large donation, and then overall, it looks like we're all representing and we're all on the same page. I'd like to get information out to the membership as well, so they can give us feedback in advance before we send out letters and directives to the university, so that we are sure that everyone is on the same page and we have a majority voice when we go to the university versus just the voice of the board or a few who choose to speak louder than others.
All right. And lastly, what is being done currently and what would you do to increase alumni membership, giving, and participation on the local and national levels?
So again, I go back to communication. And as the person who you all receive those many member planet emails from, I want to ensure that when we send information out, that one, you're actually receiving it, until you understand the purpose of it. And hopefully that will encourage participation. I also want to highlight our achievements. A lot of people didn't know the amount of money we gave out last year because you gave. You gave us 80,000 and we gave 90% of that away. And so we want to continue to be able to give back to our students. We had 50 applications last year. We're actually over 50 applications for scholarship this year. That is an accomplishment for a school of our association of our size to be able to ensure that 50 students have an opportunity to be on the Hill. And so again, just back to communication so that we're able to connect. Everybody is aware who wants to be aware and they know how to give and to participate.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. King. Next, we will have our financial secretary, candidate for the Office of Financial Secretary, Ms. Shakita Goodlow Suggs. Ms. Suggs, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
I am well. So in your role, how will you foster cooperation and communication amongst board members?
Well, in my role as a future financial secretary, I will ensure that I provide adequate financial reports and have, if questions I ask, I will be available to answer them at that time because I'm a proactive person. And also, I think if we will get to know our board members, that would help with the cooperation and communication among each other, because some of us, we don't know each other. So I think communication will be that.
Okay. And how will the board work together to build positive relationships with the university administration?
I think the importance about building positive relationship is communication. I would like to make sure I will be involved more with the university. I think we need to arrange more meetings to be engaged with what's going on campus and have more open forum and communication meetings where we can address issues as they occur.
Okay, and lastly, what is being done currently and what would you do to increase alumni membership, giving, and participation on the local and national levels?
Well, with that, I think what is being done currently, I remain to participate with the membership committees and fundraising committees and other committees to where we can have events to where we can increase the membership and giving and participation. And that's not only the national level, but also on the local level, because with the local level, we're currently working on fundraising and also trying to get more members within the local chapter here. So I think just participating and being involved would help.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Suggs.
Thank you.
All righty, we are moving on to the candidate for treasurer, Ms. Karen House Samuels. Ms. House Samuels, hello again.
Yes, hello again. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good also.
So in your role, how will you foster cooperation and communication amongst the board members?
By listening and participating in the conversation, and as a financial officer, supporting the initiatives of our committees and what they're doing and the needs of the committees.
Okay. And how will you see the board working together to build positive relationships with the university administration?
As it's been said, as we continue to meet with the administration, I think the board should be in one accord on all initiatives so that we're together as a board.
Okay. And what is being done currently and what would you do to increase alumni membership, giving, and participation on the local and national levels?
First, I just want to give kudos to the tech team. They're getting the information out there about membership drive and giving. And you can tell by the local chapters that everybody's working on membership and scholarships. So as a financial officer, I just want to be there to support our committees and make sure they get regular updates on the progress of these initiatives.
All righty. Thank you, Ms. House Samuels. And
Thank
so
you.
now we're going to move into our members at large. The members at large candidates, according to the association's constitution and bylaws, the member at large are they are to lead a project. So these questions will revolve around projects. So we will start with, is Dr. Owen still on?
I am.
Okay, Dr. Owens, what projects have you implemented that benefited the association? And remember, I just want to make that brief reminder, you'll each be asked 3 questions and you have 1 minute to respond to each question.
As stated earlier, one of the things that I started to do this past year, first of all, let me say, I have not done enough. I served in this role this past year, but I want to continue to do what I started doing, and that was to work with the RISE Foundation, because I see that as an element that we can use for our university, which by also contributes to our association to bring more dollars to the university, more research to the university, more internships to the university, more graduates to. I think it's the one thing that we need to tap into. And so this past year, I started to bring people, companies to the university. And I'll just talk about one. We bought a company, Leidos, to the university, partnered with a couple of other smaller companies here in Huntsville that are also graduates of Alabama A&M. And we were able to bring some of their VPs there. They turned around and bought another company with them as well. And they got a briefing on the university, have made a commitment to also bring you to get interns from our university, but they have also given us, they promised us to partner with us, and they did. And we have just gotten 5 FTEs. That means 5 people that's going to work on a contract with them coming up now at the NASA Aegis. That was also done with Mr. Willie Love, another A&M alumni. So I think it's all of us getting together and doing those kinds of things, continuing to work that RISE and making sure we'll bring contract dollars. That means millions and billions versus a few here in a grant. So that's one of the major things I would like to continue, because I have more, but I know I only have 1 minute. Another thing we're missing out on is we're missing out on advertising when it comes to advertising during our athletic games. We are missing major dollars because we got a very great sign there during football games that we get charged for advertisement, as long and other things that I see the other schools are doing, but I'll stop there.
Okay, well, that kind of leads us into our next question. What projects would you like to implement while in office for the association?
I'm glad you asked. I'll just do one. One of the things that I'd like to see us do, in addition to the RISE, is that work with our marketing, work with our athletic department, and to utilize the things that we have to bring more funds to the university. I look at, my son did a internship with the Habit. I noticed that they get the community involved. Alabama A&M does not get the community involved enough. We need to be given some kind of corporate packages. And what I mean by that, offer them 5 tickets to a game with parking tickets and give them some swag or something like that, maybe for $250, whatever, because I'm not a marketing person, and get those people involved. The VP may not come, he may or may not, but he's going to have someone from that company come. Use that time, get the marketing people. If we do a 30-second promo of your company during halftime or timeouts or something, that's a lot of dollars being left on the table. And I think, if I'm not correct, if I'm incorrect, we don't charge also for tailgating, and Lord, don't let the tailgaters kill me. But if we could say that the tailgating, that we charge them a minimum amount to tailgate, maybe we can get those dollars for scholarships or something, or retention or something. But we got a lot of money on the table, and I'd like to see us get that money on the table.
Okay, and finally, what past projects, either here or in other organizations, have you seen that you would like to reestablish or model for the association?
I think it's probably the one that I talked about, and that is getting the community involved, offering community packages. For instance, you can see any commercial for anything, Alabama, whoever, and you will see them. This is Military Day. This is SAIC Day. This is whatever day. This is something. We need to start having those on our campus, and we need to pull in that money from the corporate, and we need to make sure that our entire community is involved with Alabama A&M, and we have got to. Well, that's another. Anyway, we need to get that money on the hill, and there's a lot of money. Alabama made $5 billion in the state last year, and Alabama A&M didn't get as much as UAH and all these other folks, because we have got to get ourselves out in the community and bring the community back to our campus.
Thank you so much, Dr. Owens. Next up, we will go to Mr. Michael Miller. Mr. Miller.
Good afternoon again.
Good afternoon. So what projects have you implemented that benefited the association?
Well, with respect to the association, I will be honest with you. The one thing that I was involved with in my first term was the co-chair of the fundraising committee, and that brought us our HBCU, our responsibility campaign from last year. But that was a committee that we got defined, but as a association committee, that's a standing committee. So I feel strongly that as part of those responsibilities for members at large, that we don't compete with the association committees, but add to it. So as a member at large in my first term, that was my primary contribution to the association. But in the background, as I mentioned earlier, ran my Kappa Alpha Psi Gamma Phi chapter alumni activity, which benefit the university. And that turned into a model for something that I saw when I first moved back to Huntsville, which when I think Vanita King was at the Alumni Affairs office, the Infinity Groups. Some of you may remember that. We have a golden opportunity as Infinity Groups to bring back alumni as alumni active, as in growing our membership, as alumni giving, as in increasing our giving. Whether you're a football player, cheerleader, Kappa Q, whatever, we need to go bring that back. And we should bring that back as an alumni association initiative. I probably answered 2 questions in one.
Okay. I believe you did about implementing projects while in office. So since you
I would like to add to that.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the things I got a chance to participate in a couple of weeks ago was I think it was a chat and chew with the president. And the table I was at was, I think our subject was mentoring, but there's several tables. That was a great session. I think that Ms. Spelk put together as Alumni Affairs. But as member at large and as part of the association, I feel strongly also, because I got boots on the ground and I see what we got here, we have to institute more support in that interface with the Alumni Affairs office. We have an opportunity, and I think the technology team and all the teams, we've done a great job with membership, et cetera, but we probably need to come up with more volunteer alumni support to make sure that that office functions efficiently and effectively. We can all complain, but boots on the ground, arms and legs doing work is what's going to take to make that better. Over.
Okay. And what past projects, either here or in other organizations, have you seen that you would like to reestablish or model for the association?
Well, one, I mentioned the Infinity Groups already, but I see an opportunity. I think Ms. Owens mentioned this, or Dr. Owens mentioned this. I have a passion also for business and industry involvement. We have a golden opportunity to, and I'm going to use in this forum here, to mine alumni that are in corporate America positions, in state and local federal government positions, that are alumni of our Alabama A&M who are not active, but they have opportunity dollars that we can go mine based on just knowing where they are and what they contribute, be it USDA positions or corporate positions at Boeing or Lockheed Martin. We need to find our alumni and get them involved in our activities with respect to giving back and bringing those corporate entities to bear to support Alabama A&M, be it through RISE activities with the RISE Foundation or just the general engineering, biology programs to get corporate America looking at our products, our students.
Over. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Miller. Next, we will move on to Ms. Henrika Buchanan.
Hi.
Hi. So what projects have you implemented that benefited the association?
Well, I've had the privilege over the last couple of years to be involved in several of our major initiatives. So I was involved in the membership drive. That drive, we processed over 200 actions and brought in over $30,000 to the association. I was involved with Mr. Miller and others on the fundraising, our HBCU, our responsibility. We worked closely, we did a very aggressive social media campaign. We brought in over $90,000. The funds even continued to come in after it closed. We were able to give scholarships to over 50 students. And actually we had applications from 11 states And so students from 11 states got applications. And so I've also had to plan and execute the virtual conference we had last summer. And so many of the major activities that we saw, I even sit in and advise the communications and technology committees at times. And so many of those activities over the past year or two I've been involved in.
Okay. And so what projects would you like to implement while in office for the association?
So what I'd say, and that's why Member at Large was attractive to me. And I think we hear a lot of ideas of where we can go from a growth standpoint. But what I really think my project I'd like to do is really to go in and do some strategic visioning. I think we need to do a complete organizational assessment and top to bottom review of the association. And I think we really need to figure out what the structure of the association will be, what infrastructure we need to provide, whether it's technology for ourselves and for our local chapters, and how do we define the association of the future and move forward within that vein and implement that. I mean, we did a lot of great things. What we see is we aren't replicating it, right? So we did a great membership drive, but we haven't brought that back. We want to make sure that there are things that are that we know what our core activities are on an annual basis, and that we are able to implement those things on an annual basis. And if it's mentorship, if it's corporate recruiting, if it's all of those things that are going to be the core of what we do, they really need to be laid out in a document and defined, and we need to put ourselves in a place to be able to deliver those.
Okay, and that's actually a good lead into our final question. What past projects, either here or in other organizations, have you seen that you would like to reestablish or model for the association?
So I think what I've said is my true passion is about how do we align ourselves as an association to be able to move forward. And a big part of that is how do we go out as alums and bring in the resources, whether it's opportunities, whether it's, we need to be able to leverage our alumni resources in a way and our connections that really strengthen the university. But the project I'm going to talk about is going to be on a lighter note. I think, I go to North Carolina A&T's homecoming. They call it the greatest homecoming on earth. One of the things that they have at their homecoming is just a central place, a central hotel where alums book, alums come, the Alumni Association is there recruiting. And I think we do that at the Classic, but we've sort of gotten away from making sure that there's a huge alumni presence at our homecoming, and that allows us to do all of these things that we've talked about wanting to do over the last hour and a half.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Ms. Buchanan. Next up, we will move on to Ms. Tiffany Jones. Ms. Jones.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So what projects have you implemented that benefited the association?
Well, in addition to just serving on the board or the executive board for 2019 and 2020, 2021, I actually participated in revamping and reimagining our spring event. So we actually for 2018 we revamped the spring event to a black tie gala, and while our goal was to raise $10,000, we just came shy at about $8,000. And so this year, when with the pandemic, we kind of paused everything. So this year we're ramping everything up to increase those donation dollars and increase those scholarship dollars to almost $20,000. And we have sponsors actually in line waiting to donate to our event. The second event, which I'm pretty passionate about, is our freshman send-off. There's a common misconception that to be in an alumni association, you have to be a certain age, or you have to have a certain financial status, or you have to have a certain professional status, when that's certainly not true. So when we go out and meet these freshmen or incoming freshmen that are attending Alabama A&M, and they see younger people or people with, quote unquote, regular jobs, or people kind of like, blue collar and white collar workers helping to give to them, it kind of gives them that realization that this is what an alumni looks like, not the traditional alumni. The third event, actually, we had a virtual happy hour during the pandemic as we could not meet in person. And not only were we able to outreach to more people, we were also able to increase membership by about 10% for the year 2020.
Okay. And what projects would you like to implement while in office for the association?
Sure. So piggybacking off of the freshman send-off, I would actually like to extend that to hopefully trail along to have a graduate welcome, because I know that a lot of our membership is a result of our outreach, not necessarily people coming to us and looking for. We have to let them know that we're out here. We have to let them know that we're present. You know, even as much as sending a card. I know that my mentor from Alabama A&M gifted me with a leather profile so that I could take up to all my interviews. So like stationery and just stuff to get you acclimated into the workforce, you know, having that encouragement from the Alumni Association, I think would be a great idea, an opportunity to gain membership and also retain people in being a member of the Alabama A&M Association, Alumni Association.
Okay, and finally, what past projects either here or in other organizations have you seen that you would like to reestablish or model for the association?
Well, I'm a part of a Toastmasters club for financial professionals, and we have like kind of like a running, I wouldn't say contest, but more like a challenge of how many people can you recruit to become members? I think that would be a great idea across the board. And even when I look at, like, say, when DC has their popcorn fundraiser, and I look up, it kind of gets me excited to see that someone raised so much money or somebody recruited or sold as much popcorn. If we can kind of translate that to membership, I think that'll be a great opportunity for us to reach out, connect, and acquire more members so that we can get more scholarships to our students.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Jones. Next up, we'll have Mr. Willie Lovejoy. Mr. Lovejoy, how are you today?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm good. So what projects have you implemented that benefited the association?
Well, I won't say that I implemented these programs as they were already in place when I joined the association 15 plus years ago, but I've had the privilege and honor of working on our scholarship gala, where I've been the chairman and co-chair for 2 of those events, which is one of our biggest scholarship fundraisers. I've also participated with the golf tournament, which is another one of our big scholarship fundraisers. I worked with the high school senior day with taking kids up to Alabama A&M and getting with the band directors over here because as I stated previously, one of my big passions is the March Maroon and White. So whenever I hear anything about the choir or the March Maroon and White, I'm excited about it. And that was one of the reasons I enjoyed being a member of the chapter, because sometimes, you know, we all have different feelings about the university. Some is membership, some might be athletics, some might be education. But my passion was the March Maroon and White, because that's what paid for me to go to school. So when I joined the chapter and I was able to be a voting member and see, okay, when it comes up, hey, we got the university choir wants to do this, or we got the band want to do this. As someone that was a participant of that, you know, I was able to say, hey, I have a voice in that, and let's do this. This is something that needs to be done. But so that's kind of like where my passion is. Those are my initiatives that I've participated in with the alumni chapter here.
Okay, and what projects would you like to implement while in office for the association?
One thing that I would like to see, we do give scholarships to deserving students from the state of Georgia, from the state of Georgia. What I would like to do is kind of like follow those kids through. Once we give you the scholarship, you know, kind of like be a role model, be a mentor, not just give you the scholarship. If you have a hardship, you know, have a personal relationship to know what's going on. You know, once that person graduate, let them know whether they come back to the state of Georgia or not, you know, to be able to point them in a direction to say, hey, there's a chapter here. Myself, when I graduated, I had no knowledge that we had a chapter here. It took me years. I think Keisha Atkins kind of said, and Trina Nakazi, she's not on the call, but and say, hey, there's a chapter here. This is what we need to do. This is how you can get active. So I would just like to kind of like have something kind of like when you in college, you have an advisor, someone that just advises you. We don't just send you there, but we follow you through the whole process.
Okay, and finally, what past projects, either here or other organizations, have you seen that you would like to reestablish or model for the association?
I have 2 that comes to mind. We did the under 40 champions. That was the first time that Alabama A&M University did that. And our chapter here was very influential with doing that. And I would like to see that continue. as a way to recognize, young graduates, in their 30s, 40s, that are doing great things. I would like to see that continue. And the other thing is reclamation. That's something that my fraternity does. Sometimes, life just, takes you places and you kind of forget about, the things that, how you got to where you became to be, So sometimes you just need to say, hey, I reach out when I go to the gas station. I had a guy today. He said, I need to get in touch with Ira Andrews. There's something going on at Mays. I need to give him some information. And I just like to be a resource. So just to bring members back into it. When I see members out there at the gas station, I have cards, I give a card right now. Hey, this is the time that we meet. This is the date that we meet. And this is the contact. This is the president's number. Just to be a resource to bring members and, back into the fold.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Lovejoy. Next, we'll have Ms. Erica McLean. And just to remind everyone, we have 1 minute per question. So Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Yes. So what projects have you implemented that benefited the association?
Well, I've been a member of the association for a number of years. I've served on several committees and helped those initiatives. So I'm passionate about service. And one project that I implemented was the silent auction that we have done through at the time of our alumni weekend during Founders Weekend. And that is where donations are given and people are able to actually bid on those items, which helped raise funds for our scholarship. And that is one project I implemented that was very successful in growing our scholarship.
Okay. And what projects would you like to implement while you're in office for the association?
I recently participated in the virtual alumni listening session with Dr. Daniel Williams. And my topic was what can alums do to help retain more students? And everyone has already mentioned what's needed. There is a need for alumni to have more of a presence on campus with the students. And that's from the time of freshman year all the way up till they graduate. And in my discussion, I mentioned the same things that have been discussed, which is to have an open forum, mentoring program. I also mentioned about doing a hotline for using our social media in order to reach out to students so students can ask questions, get help or assistance or resources if need be. And the purpose is to really just help bridge that gap between students and alumni and be more present on the campus. And I've already set the stage by presenting that to our president. So as we grow, as we come together as the association, that is already on his agenda.
Okay. And lastly, what projects either here or in other organizations have you seen that you would like to reestablish or model for the association?
With this question, I would just refer back to the silent auction. That was an initiative that I saw an organization here on Redstone Arsenal implement in order to raise money. And so with our social media platforms now, with Zoom and Facebook Live, we can expand with that silent auction fundraiser and grow our scholarship and initiatives.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. McLean.
Thank you.
And finally, we have Ms. Angela Martin White. Ms. White.
Yes, ma'am.
What projects have you implemented that benefited the association?
Okay, basically again, with everything everyone has said, amen, amen, and amen again. And I would just like to say that since childhood, I have been representing Alabama A&M University through my parents who were first generation students. And I continue to recruit students for Alabama A&M University as well as alumnus to our Alumni Association.
Okay, and what projects would you like to implement while in office for the association?
Okay, as far as projects are concerned, I think through the COVID epidemic and pandemic and all, we have discovered a very useful tool, and that is virtual platform. And I think it's already been touched on, but we need to utilize all the tools that we have to reach out, especially to our younger alumni, because as we know, there is nothing new under the sun. And basically, it's all about using our resources, which are our alumni.
Okay, and finally, what past projects either here or in other organizations have you seen that you would like to reestablish or model for the association?
Being a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, we actually have active reach back programs for bringing members back that are inactive to the organization, same as we do with our university. And so I do not know what the names that we've had with Alabama A&M, but a recruitment program on a national recognition for the regions, the chapters, and members as far as the number of people, because everybody likes competition. And so to be able to do something as far as reaching, even if you reach one, like reach one, teach one, reach one, bring one, and each person brings someone else. And we just get recognition for that on a national level and make sure, just like Ms. Jones said, when you have younger people and you reach out to them to let them know, it doesn't matter what type job that you have, that as long as, even if you attended the university, that you are an alumnus if you've gone to the school one semester, and you also bring people back in as far as going back to school at Alabama A&M, and we are our best resource, alumnus of the university.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. White. And now we have come to the point in our forum where our candidates will give closing remarks if they so desire. Each candidate will have 1 minute to give a closing remark, and we will start with candidate for the office vice president, Dr. Terrence Bickerstaff.
I would like to thank each of you all for joining us on this afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to stay platform, give our explanation of why we are excited about doing this work called alumni service. What I would like for each of us to remember, that each of us has a task, and as a body, as we come together, when we come together, we can do it and do it in a mighty way.
Okay, thank you. Next, Dr. Claudette Owens, candidate for Regional Vice President of Region 1. And I will also add that she is also a candidate for a member at large position. Dr. Owens, would you care to give any closing remarks?
Thank you. I've enjoyed our time together. I thank you for this opportunity to share with you, and I'm glad that we had this time together. I want you to know that I think that Alabama A&M is in great hands with any of these candidates, and my heart is, elected or not elected, I plan to work with these candidates because it's all about Alabama A&M, and I do believe in that motto we came up last year, and that is our HBCU, our responsibility. I thank you for your time today, and I appreciate this format, and let's go build. They say Alabama, I say Alabama A&M University.
All right, thank you, Dr. Owens. Keisha Atkins, candidate for Regional Vice President of Region 3. Would you care to give any closing remarks?
Yes, ma'am. First, I want to thank you, my classmate and my homegirl, for being such a wonderful moderator. Also to Mr. Hale and the rest of the committee, also to the publicity and technology committees that continue to keep our association afloat. Just want to say that Founders Day, some of us will be celebrating 25 years of graduating from the institution. I'm one of them. And regardless of my role or my position, I will always be supportive of Alabama A&M. I'm in this relationship with Alabama A&M for the long haul because that's how much I respect and admire the university. Go Bulldogs, service is sovereignty. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. And as a reminder, candidate for Region 3 for Regional Vice President, Mr. Jermaine Ralph had to drop off. So we will move on to candidate for Regional Vice President, Region 4, Mr. Roderick Hudson. Mr. Hudson, would you care to give any closing remarks?
I would like to thank the committee and everyone who participated today and everyone who listened in. We are out here on the West Coast. So if you know anyone that's out here and would like to join the chapter, please contact me. And I look forward to being regional 4 vice president for a second term. And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hudson. Candidate for Regional Vice President, Region 7, Mr. Jamal Ali. Mr. Ali, would you care to give any closing remarks?
Absolutely. I'd like to start by saying thank you, first of all, for the outstanding moderation you've provided today, keeping us on track. And thanks to everybody who are seeking office. And I can't be more excited about the potential for Alabama A&M University. We do this thing in advertising and market research. Sometimes you ask people to name, HBCUs. And so the usual suspects, the Morehouse, the Spelman, the Howard, the Hamptons come to mind. But in recent years, some of the non-private schools, FAMU and NCAT, have creeped into that top 10 set. And so the resources we have on this call, the energy, the insights, the intelligence, the fortitude, we can bring Alabama A&M into that conversation. And if we do that, if we do all the things that we've talked about today, we can get that done. And I can't be more excited to be on this path with the great minds and the partnership with you guys. So thank you again. My cup runneth over.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. Candidate for Recording Secretary, Ms. Shelby King, would you care to give any closing remarks?
I just want to say thank you again for the opportunity. And Ms. Drakeford, you were excellent. I appreciate you stepping up to the plate to do this for us. Also, if you are not receiving email from the association, we will have an electronic ballot this year. You need to contact us. A link tree was dropped in the chat. Ms. Andrew, would you drop it again? Please make sure that your email address is on file with us so that you can get a ballot, so that you can then vote for these wonderful people that you see here on your screen. We'll send out additional information in the coming weeks about the election process. We want to make sure that everybody can participate. So please make sure your information is up to date in our database.
All right, thank you. Candidate for Office of Financial Secretary, Ms. Shakita Goodlow Suggs. Ms. Suggs, would you like to give any closing remarks?
Yes, I would like to thank the committee and all those that have joined the forum, and I look forward to serving as financial secretary, and also would like to encourage those to go out and vote to retool the schools so we can receive that amount of money for AAMU. And I also encourage those who's on the forum to also participate and join some of the committees so that we can make AAMU one of the best HBCUs. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate for Office of the Treasurer, Ms. Karen Howe Samuels. Ms. Howe Samuels, would you care to give any closing remarks?
Sure. I'd like to say I look forward to continuing to work with those who are already on committees and lead committees, and also welcome and thank you and want to work with those who are coming aboard. I do want to piggyback on Keisha. This is a class reunion year, and I am celebrating my 40th. So I do say, if you are celebrating a reunion year, so please register and be there and support the university by making a donation. Go Bulldogs.
All right, thank you. Now we're on to our candidates for members at large. Mr. Michael Miller, would you care to give any closing remarks?
Sure. Again, as stated, thank you so much for doing a great job this morning and moderating this session. I must say I've enjoyed it. So thanks for the opportunity. I believe service is sovereignty, and Alabama A&M gave to me for 4 years that I was here from 1980 to 1984. And as I have matriculated through life, it made it my business to love Alabama A&M back. And as a member of the association, I will do my damnness, if you will, in my milder language, to make sure that I bring others to the table to do the same.
All right, thank you. Ms. Henrika Buchanan, would you care to give any closing remarks?
Thank you, Letitia. And I must echo everyone's words on the fantastic job that you've done moderating this session. You've made it less nerve-wracking, right? To be able to sit up and talk for an hour and a half. And, that's a gift. So thank you for your calm demeanor in doing that. And I think the only thing I would echo is that, we are all excited and we all have passion about the university. And we need people to step up and help do this work. And, we want to go beyond ideas. We want to make sure that we have structure. And I'm excited to be able to work with you all and do that. And the last thing I'll say is I put a couple of links in the chat. We have over 50 applicants for scholarships. And right now we've only brought in $11,000. So it is time for Our HBCU, Our Responsibility fundraising drive for the year. It's going to go through the end of April. So I encourage as many of you all as possible to click that link and donate so that we will have resources to send those students back to Alabama A&M. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Ms. Tiffany Jones. Ms. Jones, would you care to give any closing remarks?
Sure. I just want to thank everyone who came together to put this event together. Not only did I enjoy introducing myself, but I also enjoyed hearing from the other candidates and their passions and their platforms as well. Thank you, Letitia Drakeford, for moderating this whole thing. I think you did an excellent job. And thank you to the technology team, because we haven't had any technological difficulties this whole time besides flipping our backgrounds. But I really, really appreciate the time. I look forward, and I would be honored to serve as a member at large and to get these, donation dollars in so we can get scholarships to these students. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Mr. Willie Lovejoy, would you care to give any closing remarks?
Yes, I guess it's a user error because I still have yet to get my background like it needs to be, but I promise you next time it will be in order. But thanks to the committee, thanks to all of you who joined in on this call. And shouts out to all of those that are celebrating 25 years this Founders Day, as I will be celebrating 25 years myself. Go Bulldogs. Thank you again.
Thank you. Ms. Erica McLean, would you care to give any closing remarks?
Yes, and I would like to start by saying thank you to the nominating committee and the technology committee for this platform and opportunity to just be able to introduce myself to those who do not know me. And the primary goal as member at large is to just encourage others to join the association and connect with the local chapter. So vote for me as member at large, Erica McLean.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Angela Martin White, would you care to give any closing remarks?
Yes, ma'am. And for the last time, amen, amen, and amen again to everything everyone has said. And I would just like to say that I've heard a bunch of different slogans and everything that we've heard through the years. Start here, go anywhere. And I just like to add that we started here and we are everywhere. As the late Dr. Maya Angelou said, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, you do better. And that is what we are doing. We know better and we are doing better. And we want to make sure that we lead by example for others to do the same. And also, as alumnus of the university, we want to reach out and bring everybody else back into the fold. Our HBU, our responsibility. Service is sovereignty, meaning that power and nobility to those who devote their lives freely to the service of others, which is what we do. And finally, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. We all can do anything, which means that we do the best we can for our university. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to all of our panelists who have joined us today. Thank you to our fellow alumni who have joined us. I hope you found this informative. I am just delighted that I was able to serve as your moderator today and spend part of my afternoon with you all. If you are celebrating a class reunion like I'm celebrating 25 years this year. I hope to see you on the Hill at Founders Day in May. So with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Kerry Hale, the Nominations and Elections Committee Chair. Thank you again.
Thank you, Letitia. So I'll close us out here today. So first of all, I'd like to thank the candidates for taking the opportunity to participate and communicate your views and platforms to us. We greatly appreciate you taking that time, and thank you for your cooperation in doing so. I think it's very important for our membership to hear from you as we go forward, as you become our leaders of our Alumni Association in the future. Thanks again to our Nominating and Elections Committee and our Communications and Technology Committee for their great work in setting up this forum. I'd like to give a special shout out to Natasha Reese and to Zeandria English for your excellence in your efforts in keeping this together. Somebody said we didn't have any hiccups. The only hiccups were our own human errors. So we thank you for what you've done in the past, as I've seen, and what you're going to continue to do for us in the future, we hope. A special and a huge thank you for Ms. Letitia Drakeford for taking on this task of being our moderator. And I know if everybody says she has been outstanding. Thank you, Letitia. We appreciate you. Most importantly, thank you to our alumni membership who called in to listen to this platform, to hear from our leaders of our organizations, so that we hope that in the future, in the near future, you endeavor to do the same for us. As we continue to grow as an alumni association, it helps when we come from everybody, from all ages, from all regions of our organization and our beloved institution. Okay, so thank you all for coming on, as you are our direct reason for the success of this alumni association. All right, just a few points of information to share. Black Tie Scholarship Gala is the 29th of April. Okay, we'd ask that you please consider joining in to the Black Tie Gala. Of course, it's up here in Huntsville. The annual giving campaign is ongoing right now. So please, reach in your pockets, put that little corner in there to donate and support our school. I heard Chiquita mention about Retool Your School. It's going on right now as well. Of course, we can get up to $75,000 for improvements at our university. I think we've won this before. Let's do it again, Bulldogs. And finally, our alumni are reminded to get behind our organizations, our school's Founders Day, okay? Make sure the alumni participation is critical to success of this. Again, thanks everybody for joining in on us. We appreciate it, making this forum successful. We hope that this continues in the future. We look forward to our voting coming up soon. And with that, I'm Kerry Hale, class of 1985. Go Bulldogs and have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone.
Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs.